Good morning. I was, you might not see me well. I don't have my attachment to attach my phone. But this morning, I was just having a conversation before I left the house. And that's where a lot of my thoughts come from, because I am able to bounce my thoughts and ideas. And just sometimes I just wake up with things going on in my head, because it is so hard right now with the way the climate is to just kind of disconnect from what is going on and what us as a people, I'll say, children of the diaspora. I no longer will adopt the name Black, because Black is a color. I'm a child of the diaspora, brought from a continent that was rich in resources, culture, food, community, rich in all of these things and all in every aspect of the word. And I was brought here to a country where I was disenfranchised socially, emotionally, mentally, physically, sexually. Any type of abuse you could think of, it happened to our ancestors. And those the traumas that were inflicted have epigenetically been passed on for centuries still. And we are watching the ramifications of it finally coming to a head and busting, okay? But what my first thing that I want to talk about is the word sorry. The word sorry is so frustrating right now. I'm so sick of somebody wanting to say sorry when they intentionally do things, and then sorry when they are called to the carpet because of their behavior or for their behavior. Because out of the abundance of who I am and what I believe is how I usually act, most of us, and I believe all of us, even if it is subconsciously, it is tucked away. These are years and years and years of programming, being raised, being conditioned, being indoctrinated by family, friends, school, people we look up to, books that we've read that we haven't researched, things that are put in academia that only want to whitewash and tell the pretty side of the story. But there's always a why. That is my premise for everything, is why. Why? Why were we brought here? For industrialism, for capitalism, for free enterprise, to build wealth, because we are nation builders, because we are community-based people, because we love our children and know how to nurture, because we were number one in science, in architecture, in literature, in song, in dance, in medicine. That's why. And then you have quacks who had written 13-page dissertations and got PhDs and classified plants and humans and Black people in the category of primordial, or not primordial, but monkeys and apes classed us. And then people believed it because it was in a book. But you know what they did to our books, to our writings, to our scrolls? They took them. They stole them. They have them in the Louvre. They learned alchemy from us. They learned how to they learned energy and how to make soap, and how to even worship the sun and do stuff they didn't have no business, and how to heal from us. They came here, and then they came with law in mind, and then to go ahead and enforce or implement their agenda. They dehumanized us and labeled us. Labels. So I'm going to talk about sorry first. Sorry don't fix nothing. Sorry is just a word. Sorry is a way now where people modify, apply modifications, because sorry is no more than a conjunction, basically, to what? You're sorry for what? Okay, you're sorry for what? But then there always has to be a form, a function after you create a form. Okay, you're sorry. That's supposed to be concrete, fundamental, foundational. Now, what are you going to do about being sorry? So what you did about what, and I'm not going to say you, what the powers that be, what the nations and what the government did about being sorry for disenfranchising and taking people that were in war when the Japanese were here, and they had an immediate order and put them in concentration camps and took their businesses, took their homes, all those things, what they did when they were sorry, they paid them. What did you do when you were sorry about the Holocaust? And still, I've seen it in my era alive, when they were sorry about what they had did to the Jews, that the Germans did to the Jews. They gave them their money back. Those that committed war crimes were punished. Still at 100 years old, some of them 90 years old, still punished for the atrocities that they committed against the so-called children of Israel. And then they say that we aren't the children, or that we aren't the children of the Most High because of what? Because we were put in captivity. They say we're a curse. No, I'm not going to even go there. That's a whole nother tip that a lot of people aren't really ready to deal with and jump on. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stick to my script. My script is behavior modifications and sorry. So sorry. When I make a mistake, when I break the law, because I'm going to tell you, slavery was legal because the founding, they say founding fathers, the founding rapists, murderers, kidnappers that came here and wrote the Declaration of Independence, most of them were practicing law. And they came here to circumvent the law. And they created laws to circumvent the law, to create a class of people that they could enslave and become wealthy off of. And the problem is why nobody really wants to remediate the problem and really fix it is because not just Britain and Europe was in on it. The entire world was in on the children of the diaspora's dispensation and being dispersed to the four corners of the earth. The entire world, the Dutch, the Portuguese, the French, the Spanish, the Queen of England funded some ships, Columbus, to come over here and not discover, but to come and scout out and steal and kill. That's what they did, all under the premise of religion. And people were savages if they didn't subscribe to this newfound Jesus that they had, that they made in the image of themselves. Because we all know that the letter J didn't come till 500 years later. But his name is Yeshua, and he was of the tribe of Judah. And Israel, Jacob had 12 sons, and out of those 12 sons, you have 12 tribes, and we were people of color, just put it like that. But because of the cognitive dissonance and because of the need to rule and be superior, you even put yourself in a position as godlike, because you even made your God in the image and color of you, because you wanted him to be, because we're made in the image of God, which means eternal beings, eternal souls, the ability to create, to love, to replicate and duplicate, good and bad. But anyway, when I run a light, when I get caught speeding on this street that I'm driving on right now, because I did last summer, I had a $336 ticket. When I commit a crime, or if I ever commit a crime, there's restitution to be paid. So the entire world knows that they owe one specific group of people, the children of the diaspora, who have been oppressed, children of color, all over the world, not just in the United States. We've been treated the worst here in the United States. 500 years of slavery, no land, I've lost the word. I'm gonna catch it in a second. But no restitution. Getting ahead of myself. No restitution, no resolve. And then the most egregious act just recently to me that has been passed is everybody jumps on our suffrages. We just seen a group of people become a civil right because they have an identity. They have teamed up one with another on one accord and said, hey, this is who we are, and this is our identity, and this is how we've been this, and this is how we did this, and they got a civil right. faster than we have. It took us 95 years after the Emancipation Proclamation to even become human still, even after we were deemed free. 95 years after that, civil rights weren't even afforded to us. And then you have people who just recently have say, hey, you know what, because of this and that, and we've been disenfranchised, and we've been treated this kind of way, and they've been prejudiced against us and didn't give us jobs because this, that, and the other. And I ain't gonna even go into all that, but I didn't choose to be clothed in this melanated vehicle. The Most High decided that at the given place and time that he would clothe me in this skin to be a representation of him in the earth, and to see what I would do, because we are all spiritual beings having a human experience, and that's what we forget. But anyway, we jump in head first, and then we say we're gonna be Black Lives Matter, we're gonna be all lives, we're gonna be whatever we're gonna be, and we're gonna have this movement. And then what we start doing, we dismantle it from the inside out by biting, picking, chewing, and picking each other apart, because we can't come to one united thought and mindset. And that mindset should be, you know what, if you are sorry, let's bring that to the table. Let's just keep it straight across the board. These are the things that have been done to us. And the root of the issue is, it's wrong. It was against the law. There were murders, crimes, kidnappings. I hear stories and have heard stories because one of the elders in my family that passed away 3 years ago was 104 years old. So I've heard the stories, the things that they don't even care to talk about. But in her later years, she would go ahead and divulge these things, and she divulged things to us about who we were and where we came from. We came from Madagascar on a Dutch slave ship and landed in Virginia. So there are records that show where we come from and who we are as a people. So guess what? Sorry, if you're really sorry, pay up. And not in the sense of, programs. People want to pay up in a program. Don't keep giving me stuff. People want to be essential. We are a proud people. We want to take care of ourselves and our own people. We don't want you to keep handing us nothing. But be fair, equitable. Give us our land. Give us the ability to function and operate as an economy on our land. Let us teach our children. Stop suppressing the history, because the reason why we're angry, you say, well, they're just so angry, because what really just got me yesterday was the woman and man who pulled a gun on the young lady, and that we're talking to her about bumping into their child, and it immediately escalated. And I'm watching this because I have gone to the gun range, and I have listened to those gun experts who teach about shooting at the range, and getting certified for your gun. They tell you what you can and can't do, how you can and can't brandish a gun. We don't have the information, and that's why we keep on shooting ourselves in the foot. Because very well, if had no one been there, she could have escalated that situation and killed that young lady. Because we don't know how to fight the right way. Pen is mightier than the sword. And we use the laws that they created to get what we want from them. Quit getting angry. Quit tearing up stuff, even though it ain't ours. It ain't. It's in our community, but it's not ours. It don't belong to us. They bring things into our community. That's another thing. You bring things into our community that aren't beneficial to us. We're number one in mental health, number one in drug addiction, number one in pre-existing conditions, and that right now, number one with the COVID, dying from it, sick, and we're affected by it we're impacted by it at a more in a larger rate, because of the fact that the things that have been done to us generationally, systematically, over and over and over for years, and then people throw band-aids at band-aids called grants into our communities, but still give them to people who they deem credible to be overseers. It ain't that we're done. It's time to stop being overseen and doing what you're supposed to do. Not saying that you should just give anybody some money. Give it to people who are credible, who have proven to be integral, who have proven to be called to do the work for their people. Not people who see a movement and start hustling the movement, because there has to be some consistency in all of our movements. We start something and then we stop it for a hot minute. Right now, I am not, and I haven't been out protesting or talking, because I believe I'm more effective. My voice is more effective in the area that I've been placed in on the platform that I've been given. And everyone has a place. Not saying there's anything wrong. Some people are those people who are out there right up in your face, marching in the fight. And don't get me wrong, when it's something to fight for and time to, I will. But right now, at this time, my health, my family's health is essential. And we've been given platforms such as via now social media, Zoom, emails, conversations can be had, and these things, everybody don't have to know about them, but there is change being affected, and your words are powerful, and your actions are even more so. So if we are judged by the content of our character and how we act out, then the same thing the same measure should be afforded to those who now know you weren't here for slavery, but you know what? You are a benefactor of slavery. Some of you have generational wealth. Some of you have the abilities. A lot of you are asking, what should we do right now in this time? It is in your power to make change, do it. If you have the ability and the resources, or been giving the stewardship over resources and things that will change and affect change in the children of the diaspora's life, do it. Quit talking about it. Quit being scared. Everybody's scared about what somebody gonna say. I'm scared if somebody don't say something, if somebody don't stop something. Because right now we have a White House resident that is a stark raging, power driven, drunk on power, and doesn't care about anything or anybody. And what we are seeing right now is the spirit that comes from antiquity that is being manifested into the universe right now. And people that share the same thoughts, same egregiousness towards us as a people, they are acting on that, because your vibe attracts your tribe. So he putting that vibe out there, and people that believe and think the same way he does are latching on. And honey, but they know the law. They have guns. They have money to pay for lawyers, even if they do. Even with policing, people don't understand what's going on right now with them asking to defund or take some of the money and reallocate it somewhere else. They're not saying take away police, but reallocate the funds back into social economics, where you will build a people, where they will be a proud people. People don't tear up stuff and don't steal if they don't have to. You get frustrated. I get frustrated because right now I'm implementing a community center, and I go over there and the tool shed is broken into. The tools are gone. The soil is gone. Praise the Lord, the tree's still there, but certain things happen, and it's a mindset. Because I've been disenfranchised, don't nobody want to give me an opportunity, I'm going to take it. But when you're stealing from the community center, you're really stealing from yourself, because it's not mine. I'm implementing this program because I see a need, and I believe in the vision that I've been given, and I see a change can happen when people know that this is ours, and we will nurture it and take care of it. You don't tear up stuff when it's yours. But for so many years, that hasn't been the case with us. So when you watch a man being publicly executed in the middle of the street by a overseer, there's epigenetic traumas there for us, because that takes us back to in our DNA, tucked away, are traumas and triggers that we don't even know exist because of slavery. And the scientists and psychologists that came over here and helped the plantation owners mentally abuse and oppress their slaves and make them love them? They did that. They helped do that, and they knew it. And that was a whole diabolical scheme. The Willie Lynch Jim Crow era. The I can't even think of the one scientist's name right now because I can't look at my book. But I'm reading this book called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, and it's on Amazon. And we're going through this book club. And these are things that I've already known because I was raised by a very conscious family and dad who was really into Black Power. Black Panther made me read, and I knew these things. But now to watch the dots connect and everything start to fire off, and to see the things that I only read about happening, it is infuriating. But also, you have power. There's power in the pen, power in your voice, and power in your presence. So those of you that are marching, there's power in your presence. Those of you that are writing, there's power in your presence. Those of you who are creating programs, there's power in your presence. But remember, don't lose sight. It ain't about the money. I don't care what my neighbor is eating if I'm eating. People care about what the next person is doing when they don't have it. And so that is one of our problems. And so one person is given something and the other person is still sitting over here licking their chops hungry. And of course I'm going to take my fork and I'm going to try to stick it in your plate because what you got over there look good because I don't have nothing on my plate. But when things are evenly dispersed and when opportunities are readily made available, and it's not all this red tape that you have to go through, even in organizations where people are, they want to keep creating programs, but you want to keep creating programs because you want to keep getting money. Believe you me, the Creator said it. Yeshua said it. Jesus, whoever you want to call him, said it. He said there will always be orphans, widows, and the poor amongst you. So your duty is to care for them, but also do what he did. People call it the Maslow hierarchy of needs. I call it the model of Yeshua. He met the need first where you were. If you were blind, he took the scales from your eyes. If you were dumb and couldn't talk or deaf, he unstopped your ears and unbridled your tongue. If you couldn't walk, he told you to pick up your mat and walk. If you were hungry, he gave you food. And if you were trying to fish and didn't, he told you where to go to fish at. That is our model. That is our model, and that's what we should be doing with right now in this climate, in this era. But sorry, I'm watching people, a narcissistic, ranting, raving, stark mad, raving man, instead of saying, you know what, the United States is going to fix and remediate the issue with the children of the diaspora, because we know what we did. Getting mad about them. It's okay to write Black Lives Matter in the middle of the street, because you know what? Ain't nobody getting a dime from it. Give me what my family is due. You done put out trillions of dollars in stimulus and unemployment. If you gave every child of the diaspora in your country right now they money, it still would not be equivalent to what you've given away in free resources. And what you're doing is you're giving this money to large corporations, because I know what it meant when you said make America great again. Because when America was great was when we had the big corporation, the United States, who could own slaves and workers. Workers make money. If I am a corporation, you pour money into my corporation to continue to create slaves. That is the problem, that is the issue, and that is the agenda. So we as a people have to understand that right now in this social climate, education is amazing. Get you some education. Get some seats at the table. We only have one in Senate, in legislature, that represents the entire unit of us. One in the House Senate, one. And she can only do one thing. And so we fight and fuss about why she didn't run for president, because the president don't do nothing but sign or veto the laws. But Senate makes the laws, and we have one person in there fighting for us. Some of y'all need to get in those houses, some in those seats. Same way in our community. Some of us need to stay in our districts, and if not, get in other districts and quit fighting and scrapping and scraping amongst each other. Quit talking behind each other's back. Quit undermining, going behind each other. And let's come to a common goal and to a common united thought, and say, hey, you know what? For the advancement of people, because it ain't about me. Because one day I'm not going to be here, but my children and their children and their children's children will be here, and the things that I implement and the footprint that I leave will go forth and will be something that will send them in that will navigate them through. I'll be laying a path for them. I am not trying to build a platform and a voice and a community for me. I'm trying to build a better community for my own, because I see what has happened. I've seen it I'm 47, so I've seen it decline in my lifetime. Our community, where it was rich in food and agriculture and community and people cared. And I went to a teen pregnancy resource center where I had a social worker who made sure I got to my appointments, and who made sure I made appointments with my counselors at school to talk about making sure I stayed on point for graduation. And I graduated from high school. And then I did enroll in City College, and that wasn't something I wanted to do. And I went on and went through some of the social programs that were made available, that have programs, but I became an entrepreneur. See, we keep people on programs to stay on programs. No, get on a program to be a person that can create a program to do something for someone else and pull them out. And long story short, when you have people that are willing to invest, that's what we need to do. We want to get in position so that we can invest in others, and then therefore they can invest in other people as well. But modifications are just that. I'm gonna modify your engine. I'm gonna modify your muffler. I'm gonna modify it so it's louder. I'm gonna modify it so that it doesn't make a lot of noise. That's what modifications do. Modifications only alter. They don't change. We need a change. And the change is not sorry. The change is put your money where your mouth is. If you sorry when you commit a crime, when you want to readily admit that you've done something wrong to a nation of people, remediate the issue, remediate the problem. Let some of these boys out of prison that you done put in there for selling weed, and now you've legalized marijuana, and take away their felonies so that they're not walking around here with this tag so that they can't get jobs. And the same thing with child support. Make it even across the board. If a girl have a baby by a man, I think they both need to take part in taking care of the kid. So if the laws where a man can't get a license, you can't go to work. So what does that mean? Then you go commit a crime. And then what does that mean? I'm gonna be in the brick plantation. I know people might not agree with my thoughts on child support, but hey, I don't see taking away a person's right to be human because they had a child, and both people clearly were can be irresponsible. I believe that when a child is born within a union and it's a committed union and it's legal on paper, yeah, they have a right to care for a child. But when people are running around here and continue to have children out of wedlock, when you know that there's an order to operation for all things, then you should participate in the caregiving of the child too. And then when the government has to step in, the government oppresses this man. So there are so many things that we need to think about as a people. We need to think about all of these things. We need to learn our laws. We need to learn our gun laws, and we need to learn and go legally get guns and concealed carry weapons so that we can do the same thing when we feel threatened. When and not by the police. I'm not saying pull guns on the police. Don't even misquote me. I ain't crazy. But what I'm saying is, in instances, stop getting all incited and letting somebody incite you to wrath, and then so they can kill you, because that's what's happening right now. Because we got ultimate gaslighter in the that is a resident of the White House, and a lot of us are walking around here with gasoline draws on, so it don't take much for them to say something to ignite a fire under our ass and for us to explode. And then that's what they want us to. They want us to be dead in the street. But also too, right now the climate is so turbulent, and it's scary when you get pulled over. A young man, they see the things that are happening to them. I even had a conversation with my daughter because she's plays sports, and I'm fussing at her a lot of times. You know, I don't know if a lot of you are, about kids walking around here with hoodies and stuff on in the summertime. It's hot as hell, and then you want to walk around with hoodies. I said, but what if you're mistaken when you walking around here with basketball shorts and a hoodie on, and they mistake you with your group of friends as a boy? And then you see them putting 11 and 12-year-old kids on the ground. It's sad I'm having to have these conversations with my child, because the only conversation I remember having to have was, you don't walk up and you don't go in nobody's house when you walk to the store. You guys walk in groups and don't walk up to people's cars, because people kidnap kids. And now we're prey for law enforcement too, because like I said, the spirit that is out here, spirit attracts the spirit. So the spirit that's at the top is wagging all the tails. So there are so many things that need to be remedied and not modified. And the first would start with, if the nation and people want to know what they can do, and if you empower and you in position and you have the resources, or you have the voice, or you got the pen that can sign the paper, do it. Look at what was really done to us as a people, and then you will see why we're so angry. You know eugenics, you know epigenetic trauma, you know what's being done right now. So if you want to know what can be done, take a look at, educate yourself, and then get somebody else who knows about what's happened to them. Sit down and talk to them, and let's come to some let's have some hard discussions and come to a resolve. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I was driving into town, so again, I was trying not to kill myself, but I had to get that out. Hope you have a blessed day, and leave me some comments, and I will put some links in also where you can email me if you have something you want to directly say to me. But have a nice day.